Have you ever taken a shower and then, like, 2 hours later you take your hair down and realize you didn't get all the conditioner out? Because, like, that's where I'm at right now in my life. Sorry this intro is dumb. My name is Jen. Welcome back to the chaos. Here's another rough video. I figured out, though, that maybe it'll look better since I'm filming it in landscape now. So, learning experience. Alright, so I have tried to film 2 different videos for you, and nothing seems to be working out so well for me. So instead, we're veering off from the planned content into book tag territory, guys. So we are going to do the summer bucket list. This is a OG tag, not my OG tag. It's an OG tag created by Read By Tiffany, which is a book blog. I will hopefully be able to post that link somewhere in the description box. And yeah, it's summertime. It's time for a tag. Here we go. Basically, yeah, this is the summer bucket list tag. I'm sorry. So first prompt rather, is Hit the Beach. A book that is set by the water. For this, there is really no other answer that I could go for but Treasure Island. I mean, this is the quintessential book set by water. It's on the water for part of it. It's on an island, which is surrounded by water. You feel me? Okay, so yeah. The quintessential beach read. I think I even included this on my summer book recommendations for like the beach and stuff like that, because yeah. Perfect water book. I love the beach. We have been by the water so far, but we haven't like had a beach day so far, but I'm hoping that we'll be able to take some time to go down to a beach and at least walk around, because when I went to Maryland with my family, it was kind of rainy and stuff, so we didn't really get to hang out too much on the beach other than I walked in the water, and then the sea hated me and just went all up on me with the waves, so that was fun. There's nothing quite like walking back to your Airbnb with wet jeans. Okay, anyway, question 2. Bucket list. Watch Fireworks, a book that had a fiery romance. For this, even though I haven't finished this book, I have gone partway through the book and I have watched part of the series, so when I hear fiery romance, this is the thing that comes up in my mind, and that's Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. I know this romance is not for like everyone. In all honesty, there's probably parts of it that I'm not fully on board with, but I mean, a Scottish accent just adds a little something, and these two definitely, despite like their very cuteness at times, have a very fiery relationship. So yes. Also, has anyone else seen fireworks so far this year? We have heard them, but I haven't like seen them because people are just prematurely lighting shit off. Alright, so prompt 3, bucket list item 3 is go for a road trip. Pick a book that involves a journey. There were 2 books that instantly came to mind, and one of them at least I think is like the classic like journey book. And no, I don't mean The Odyssey for once. It's Around the World in 80 Days by Jules Verne. The journey book. Guy makes a bet, go around the world in 80 days, sets off, crazy journey, uses all different types of transportation that were available at the time in whenever this was, 1872. Yeah, the quintessential journey book, but I also have to give credit to The Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan. I freaking love this series. I love this series so much that I'm probably going to sit down and reread it. Not the whole thing, like I'm probably not going to go into Heroes Olympus again, but just these 5 books. Just these 5 books that have my heart. the first book, I mean, each of them kind of have like a journey in a sense, but this one is definitely, there's a road trip involved. We've been on a road trip so far. It was unpleasant. Traffic sucks. Don't travel on Memorial Day weekend. Let's see. Prompt number 4 is Camp Out Under the Stars. What is a book that left you starstruck? I have like a couple different answers for this, really. And I think the first answer, like something that just, I was blown away by the author's work and their planning and the amount of work that went into it, and just blown away from a fan, you know, in the first place, but also blown away from a writing aspect as well, just Dr. Sleep by Stephen King, which is the sequel to The Shining, the sequel that no one, including him, I think, thought that they were going to get. And yeah, I know that this one is not necessarily for everyone, technically, but I just felt like the effort that went into this, the perfect way the things were like tied back to other things within The Shining, it was just masterfully done, in my opinion. And I just, yeah, this is my favorite sequel of all time. Like, in my brain, nothing can quite hit this level of sequel again, and it perfectly wraps things up, and it's just, I don't know, yeah, love it. Another book, though, that left me starstruck in a slightly different way was The Poisoner's Handbook, which I read, and you see annotated, last year, which is about forensic medicine, like the birth of forensic medicine during Prohibition in New York. And this features the wonderful, the fantastic people. There is the chief medical, it starts out in 1918 when the chief medical examiner is appointed, Charles Norris, and he hires the wonderful, fantastic toxicologist Alexander Gettler. These two are a power team. I wish that I could edit this video so I could show you a picture of them. I am starstruck by their existence. I think they were brilliant men, fantastic, love them. So this is a different kind of starstruck. I was starstruck to learn about them and their brilliance and how like freaking like before their time they were, and just awesome all around dudes. So yeah, different kind of starstruck. We haven't gone camping yet. I don't know if we're gonna go camping this year at all, but let me know. Hey, let me know down below if you guys like camping and where you like to camp. So we've camped in like Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, down Cape Cod. We've camped a lot of places, but haven't camped a lot of other places. Let me see. Prompt number 5 is marathon some movies, a book you could not put down. This counts for actually an entire series, and that is Amulet. This is a series by Kazu Kibuishi. This is book 1, The Stone Keeper. I read this, last year? Read this, blew through it. I mean, it's a graphic novel, so it's easy to do that anyway, but blew through this and then instantly had to go online and buy the rest of the books, or the rest that are out right now. We're still waiting on the final book, Mr. Kibuishi, please. Yeah, this could not put it down. There are a couple of parts where things get a little bit but it's so action-packed and so fascinating, and the artwork is just so gorgeous. It's just amazing, you guys. Speaking of marathoning movies, I'm planning on marathoning the Back to the Future series at some point this summer, as well as potentially marathoning all of the Thin Man movies if I can get access to all of them. So that's fun. Let me see. Prompt number 6 is To Go Out for Ice Cream, a book with a sweet romance. So one of these answers has to be Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. This was so adorable. It made my heart hurt. I also steamy, also pretty steamy. Enjoyed that too. But this is just so cute and sweet, and I was not sure how I was going to feel about it because it is kind of like enemies-ish to lovers, and that's not normally my thing. But oh my gosh, how this developed, adorable, loved it. Another answer that I have for a sweet romance, though, Legends and Lattes by not Talia Hibbert, Travis Baldree. I mean, the romance is almost kind of like an afterthought, sort of. Like, it's not a gigantic part of the plot, it's like a subplot in there, but it was also incredibly sweet, and I really enjoyed it. Yeah. Let me see. Everybody loves ice cream unless you're lactose intolerant, then you just eat Lactaid anyway. Okay, prompt number 7 is Picnic in the Park, a book that was a breath of fresh air. So I have to hold up Legends and Lattes again because I felt like this was a breath of fresh air for me with fantasy. I know that a lot of people love this book, but there's also been a lot of people that are like, nothing happens, blah, 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 blah. Well, yeah, it's a very low stakes romance. It's a low stakes romance too. It's a low stakes fantasy novel, which is honestly not something that I realized I needed as someone who has a hard time with fantasy, specifically with young adult or adult fantasy. I tend to really like middle grade, just because I enjoy that aspect of it more. It's still playful and fun, and I have a harder time with YA because of the overuse of tropes, or adult because of how gory it can get sometimes. So I have a harder time reading that kind of fantasy. But to have something like this, which is basically like a slice of life sort of thing, like This Old House meets Barista meets Dungeons and Dragons, like, I didn't know that this was the kind of thing that I needed, and now this is a subgenre that I desperately need more of. Like, I loved this. So I thought that was a breath of fresh air for fantasy, for me, anyway. Another breath of fresh air, though, I have to say, is the Reluctant Royals series by Alyssa Cole. These books came to me in a time when I was reading a lot. I was diving back into romance and realizing that a lot of the romances that are out there, or some of the older ones that I was reading, just aren't something that I vibe with anymore. I don't really like how the relationships are developing with very little chemistry, or how the guys are written, how the girls are written, all very predictable, all like just really kind of toxic. And I know that's like a kind of subgenre within romance too that a lot of people are into, and if you love it, I love that for you. It doesn't do well. I don't do well with that. So having something like these, which had very interesting characters and also had like very healthy relationships, like healthily developing relationships, everything that's based on like communication, and it's not so much like fixing broken people with each other. It's more like, hey, we're all kind of broken a little bit, and it's not about fixing that other person, it's about being there for that other person as they fix themselves, and you're just that supportive force in it, like that kind of thing. And to me, like, having read so much romance that uses like the same tropes over and over again, like this felt like a breath of fresh air when I read this series. I also want to try to maybe reread this series this summer too, because it's just, I feel like it needs a reread. Picnic in the Park. I love taking picnics in the park. Me and my best friend used to do that fairly regularly. Let me see. Prompt 8 is Go for a Hike, a character who conquered an obstacle. Okay, I have 2 answers for this. So one of these answers is more, I guess literal, but also metaphorical, is The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. And this is like Xiomara conquering the obstacles of like things standing in her way for her own, like, the life that she wants. Like, her, like, questioning, like, her, like, the religion and stuff like that of her family, questioning, like, her parents and her mom, and, like, the rules and things and different obstacles that she's kind of placed on herself, as well as, like, a whole, it's more of a metaphorical kind of, like, facing and overcoming obstacles. But I just, yeah, I just loved this book a lot and related a lot to it, in a sense. If you mean, like, actual, like, conquering, like, physical conquering of obstacles, that also involves the woods, so this is, like, relative. There's also My Side of the Mountain by Jean Craighead George, where Sam Gribbley moves to the woods because he's sick of city life, and he is going to survive on his own in, survive on his own in the woods and make a life for himself there. And this was a pretty good to read about overcoming the obstacles of just pure survival. Yeah, I love hiking. Get outside, touch grass. All right, so number 9 is Grill Some Barbecue, a book that features delicious food. All right, I also have a couple of books to mention for this one. So first of all, another Elizabeth Acevedo book is With the Fire on High. Delicious food mentioned. Honestly, I could have done with more food mentioned in here because I loved those bits a lot, and I would love to see more. There's also a couple of actual, like, recipes that she included in here, that the character Imoni, like, made up. I love those recipes. I do want to try them at some point. But yeah, the way food is talked about in here, love it. Delicious. Everything sounds so good. And another one is, like, I feel like this might sound like a weird one, especially considering some of the dishes that are, like, kind of out there. Really, they're just, like, old stuff that people used to, like, eat, and I don't think a lot of people eat anymore. But if you've read these books, you know the way food is talked about is just and that's, like, Farmer Boy by Laura Ingalls Wilder. For all the faults of these books, the one thing that's freaking amazing in all of them is the food descriptions. They can make something as disgusting sounding as head cheese sound like a delicious time. These are my favorite parts in this book, and in the other, like, the Little House on the Prairie books and stuff like that, is the descriptions of food and how they're prepared, and, like, eating them at, like, family gatherings or just, like, a regular, like, Sunday dinner or whatever, and they just, they sound so delicious and heartwarming and good, and, like, yeah, it's the best part of these books. Also, can't wait to have barbecue. I've had barbecue already because the weather was nice. I hope the weather's nice for you guys, that you can have barbecue if you are so inclined. Okay, last question or prompt is Watch the Sunrise, a book that inspires you. So I have 2 answers for this too. One answer is From Totems to Hip Hop. This is a collection, like an anthology of poetry. It's all edited by Ishmael Reed. But honestly, any, like, poetry book, like, I could think of a couple of other poetry books, like Rudy Francisco, Sarah Kay, like, Billy Collins, even, like, all of these poetry books, like, sitting down and actually, like, having a time of just reading them or going over them, or, as you can see, picking out my favorites. Like, this is very inspiring to me writing wise. Sometimes I write poetry and it just kind of happens, and then sometimes I'm like, I'm in a slump, I can't do it, and I just feel like I need some inspiration, so sometimes I'll pop open, like, something like this, or I'll go on YouTube and I'll watch Def Jam Poetry or Button Poetry or something like that, and I'll just get into it, and then I feel like, no, now I'm in that headspace and I need to, like, put my thoughts down too, kind of thing. So this is very inspiring writing wise. Otherwise, I have to say, like, Becoming by Michelle Obama, when I read this, what was it, last year or the year before? this is the type of book, I love nonfiction when I love like reading about other people's experiences so I can learn more about them and learn more about like how they live and stuff like that. But I also really like when a book also makes you feel like you want to be a better person and like you can do more out there in the world. And this is one of those books that kind of made me feel like that. And yeah, I found this to be very inspiring. So yeah, guys, that was that book tag. That is it. As far as Watch the Sunrise goes, I do not stay up for that. Hello. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'm going to try to end this video quickly before my phone does something dumb again so I can actually upload this for you. Please, let me know how you feel about any of these books. I suppose I should tag people. I feel like I'm just going to end up like tagging the same exact people over again, so I'm sorry if you guys are tired of doing book tags or anything. No pressure at all, and also don't feel like this is something that you have to do right away or at all if you really don't honestly want to. Let me see, I'm trying to think of people. I am thinking of Autumn at Nose in a Book. I am thinking of Graz over at the GKBC. I am thinking of, goodness, it is not popping into my head. I can't remember your name. I am so sorry. I will put you guys down below in the description box as a tag. And like I said, feel free to do this if you would like. No pressure, no rush. Whatever, just hope you have fun with it. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for always watching. If you're new here, I do edit my videos, I swear. We're having technical difficulties right now. But if you would like to subscribe anyway, please do so. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for bearing with me while I'm like dealing with this stuff. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.